Hello, my name is Justin Adams, and welcome to my October reviews, motherfuckers. Guys, great news. First, I'm done with the Halloweentown movie series, and moving on to something else. Thank the Lord. Second, I talked to my therapist. He says we're making progress. We're taking these breathing exercises. This isn't the time to talk about it. Now, I said in my last review that I was going to review either Can of Worms or Phantom of the Megaplex, but decided to take a different approach. I wanted to go for the movie that literally started it all. While Halloweentown was the mother of all Disney Channel originals, Under Wraps was the actual original Disney Channel original. See what I did there? It was the original Disney Channel. Oh, forget it. Before the Cromwells became the home of everything Disney Channel Halloween, there was just Under Wraps, a movie about three kids who reanimate a mummy and hang out with him. Who wouldn't want to do that? Yeah, I wouldn't either. But that's the premise, and hey, it's enough to keep me intrigued. Now, I remember this movie, but very vaguely. It was always that movie that was on late at night when I couldn't sleep, or just waking up in the middle of the night and seeing that was on the Disney Channel. I remember certain scenes, like them bringing the mummy into the kid's house, and hiding it from mom, and then the end. That's literally it. Everything else I didn't really remember at all, and seeing how bad the Halloweentown movies turned out, I turned off all sense of thinking that anything I'm going to be watching this month will be remotely good. And it was under my surprise that Under Wraps is actually that. It's remotely good. The movie begins within a horror movie. We have the dad from Even Stevens eating dinner with his family as a monster is lurking around outside. After dropping the knife in the garbage disposal, the monster jumps in through the window and shoves his face into the knife. Gnarly. But before we see any blood, we cut to our two main characters' best friends, Marshall, played by Mario Yedidia, fucked up your name, sorry dude, and Gilbert, played by Adam Wiley. Marshall is really into the gore fest, as Gilbert can't really handle it. He runs out of the theater, not coming back for the rest of the movie. Marshall tells him that he can't take him to the movies anymore if he's going to keep doing that. Gilbert says he doesn't like those movies and he likes the happy ones, like The Sound of Music. This appalls Marshall. He's like, oh, excuse me, we are men. We don't like that stuff. Slap, slap, slap. After Marshall finds out that Gilbert isn't getting paid by some old scary dude named Kubot, played by Ed Lautner, for delivering the paper, I didn't know that was a thing, so Marshall, being a loyal friend and a bona fide badass, he walks to Kubot's house and says he owes Gilbert money. Kubot laughs this off and throws his dog at the kids. The kids run for their lives to Marshall's house. This is where we meet Marshall's mom and her new boyfriend Ted, played by Bill Fagerbeck. The guy that plays the legendary Patrick Starr from SpongeBob. He voices him. That's who I'm just going to call him, Patrick Starr, because his last name is very hard to pronounce. Marshall doesn't like his mom's new boyfriend, hates that his parents are going through a divorce. Preach, brother! We find out by their friend Amy, played by Clara Bryant, that Kubot died hours after they went over and got chased home by his dog. And then after that, they decide to break into the dead guy's house and check it out, see what they can see or find and whatnot, and discover kids are crazy. As they're trying to sneak in, Gilbert falls through, knocking over a sarcophagus with a mummy inside. Luckily, Marshall and Amy have a hold of Gilbert, but once he sees the arm of the mummy, he freaks out completely and runs away. Marshall and Amy chase after, realizing that Gilbert dropped his glasses. Gilbert says he's fine without them. Marshall and Amy insist on going back. It's then we see the hand of the mummy move, because the conjunction of the moonlight during that time in October choose for this to happen, and also the script said so. We have a movie to watch here. The kids see the mummy, which is also played by Patrick Starr, and automatically run away, chasing them all around the house. He gets them in a corner and then stops. This is when we find out that he wasn't chasing them to kill them, he was actually running to use the bathroom. Ha ha ha. I actually did kind of find that funny. Marshall jives with this mummy and wants to take care of it. Amy and Gilbert say they should go. Marshall tries to communicate with the mummy, saying that they'll be back the next morning. By the kids' surprise, he actually understands them. The next day, Amy and Gilbert think they shouldn't go back, but Marshall saw how innocent he was and knows he's very, very harmless and wants to take care of him. But once they go back to see the mummy, they see that everything in Kubot's house is gone. Ironically, Amy's mom is the realtor trying to sell the house, and the kids have to make excuses to leave. What a wacky situation. Do we ever get reintroduced to Amy's mom and have her, worried that their kids are running around in this dead guy's house? No. It's just a throwaway plot point. After this, the movie stops to give a quick shout out to its sponsor. Take a guess what it is. Yeah. I don't know how the mummy escaped or what he did. They never show. But, I'm glad that they have this Dairy Queen scene, because now it makes me want to go get Dairy Queen. After the mummy finds himself at the hospital where doctors think he's a burn victim and try to help him, but after he gets zapped with those zappy thingies, he runs for his life and finds himself back with the kids. While the mummy was going on his own voyage, the kids found out by this guy named Bruce, played by Ken Campbell, who tells them that if the mummy isn't in his sarcophagus by midnight of Halloween, then he's going to disintegrate. Marshall takes the mummy to his house, naming him and everything. He now goes by Harold, and while Marshall is sleeping, Harold finds himself wandering out the house looking for a toy he was playing with. During, he sees a bus going to a museum for pyramids and mummies and decides, hey, that's where I need to be. The kids follow him there, and we discover that Harold had a wife and was supposed to have his sarcophagus next to hers, but because of rich assholes like the dead guys, he's not. So the kids try to find the sarcophagus, but with the help of a neighbor boy, they find out that it was taken by a yellow ice cream truck. We cut to the ice cream factory where some goons are talking and grabbing the sarcophagus. The kids sneak inside and find out that Kubot isn't really dead. He's actually just faking his death to run away from insurance fraud, and he wants the mummy to make more dough. Cue goons chasing the kids. The kids go to a Halloween party to get the help of Bruce. Harold dances with a girl who was dressed like an Egyptian princess. Goons take Harold. Kids go to save Harold. Gilbert runs car in an ice cream place. Kubot pulls a gun out on the kids, causing Harold to freak out and attack. But Harold is losing energy. He needs his sarcophagus. Cut to, they're at the museum with the sarcophagus put in next to his wife. Harold reveals his ruby and hers and brings her to life for a second. After looking at each other, Harold gives Marshall the ruby, and they go to sleep. Finally, we end with Marshall accepting his mom's new boyfriend, and Marshall and Amy begin to develop a sweet relationship. The end. Wow. That was actually a good movie. A nice movie that of course has problems, but is overall a fun, funny, enjoyable family movie. Nothing goes too over the top, and it doesn't give us too little. It's right in the middle. Sure, there are some dumb things, but it's made by the kids' really, really good chemistry. Seriously, these kids work so well with each other, and the movie's actually very well written. The dialogue is super catchy and fast. These kids chew through the dialogue like it was nothing. It's sad to see that they didn't really do much after this. Now, what's good and what's bad, I already said what was good, but I will say more. The comic timing in most scenes is on point. It's something I really wasn't expecting. Maybe I smoked too much weed during it, but I found myself laughing a lot at this movie. And it was mostly through the dialogue and performances. What's bad is that they rely too heavily on the mummy at times. While I think Patrick did a fine job, I do think that some scenes suffer from over-the-top nature of his character. But this is a Disney Channel movie and needs to appeal to that demographic, so we can barely call this a con. Another thing is the bad guys. These 90s kids movies always need those thugs and goons and running around shenanigans, which is always the stupidest parts about these movies. But other than that, this movie is a pretty solid kids flick. It's one of the best written Disney Channel originals I've seen so far, and actually has my hopes up for the next movies to come. Guys, that's what I think about Under Wraps. What do you think about it? Let me know in the comments section. Like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Yes!